Greetings, flesh creatures. It is I, Megatron. On behalf of TFYLP, I want to congratulate you for listening to the most refined collected podcast on this miserable little planet Earth. Yes. Here you'll find knowledgeable fans discussing every aspect of Transformers and beyond. Now, enjoy the show while I continue my path to complete conquest of all of you miserable biological entities. Predacons, terrorize!
Hi, welcome to TFYLP, episode 609. We are live tonight. It is Thursday, January 2nd. I'm Lucas. I'm joined tonight by Rob.
Howdy.
And Anna.
Good evening.
And we may have I think we have a couple other people that are fashionably late that we'll have to wait here for a couple minutes. So, welcome. We are doing part 2 of our Best of 2024 episode here. And as Alderon is saying, we are finding out who the leftovers are. So, Anna, that was all I think Christian and Phil were saying. Oh, the important people were here last week.
The additional cast members is what Christian kept referring to us as, the additional cast members.
No. They got it wrong. We just saved the best for last.
Absolutely.
I mean, y'all were talking about all these mainline figures. Y'all were a little boring from time to time, you know?
Right.
There's a whole lot of, it's in Hasbro toys so good, and
I bought 5 Hasbro figures this year. That's it.
Well, and this is the reason why we had part 2 of the show. That's what everyone was wondering, like, why the heck are you having a part 1 and part 2, right? And I was like, well, we can't have a best of, without Rob and Anna and the other people that are fashionably late.
whoever else.
Whoever
and
these
the
other
rest.
people are. Yeah, if they show up.
I'm glad.
Oh, you know what? Oh, okay. So part 3 of this is actually, I thought about this would be perfect, right? Is I still haven't put up the panel that Rick did at TFCon about like all of their different Transformers merchandise and stuff. So I'll have to put that up as part 3.
There you go.
Because I'd actually reached out to Peter to ask him if he wanted to be on the show tonight. And he said, oh, well, I actually did not get any regular normal Transformers. It was all merchandise this year. And so he's like, whatever. You guys don't care about that. So
I think we do, but it would also be kind of weird.
yeah. What's your best figure of the year? Like this, like Happy Meal toy or whatever.
Like, I know we have the categories. I'm definitely going to fudge some of them, and some of them I'm just not going to do because I don't have anything. So I'm going to sub some categories here and there. Yeah.
I mean, I found a way to fit into all 7 without breaking any rules, really. Kinda. Like, I'm kind of interpreting.
The squint.
Yeah, well, I mentioned to Christian that, exclusive could obviously mean a TFCon exclusive, and he was like, we'll just throw everything out the window, and I was like, no, that was pretty obvious.
That's literally what it means.
But yeah,
yes.
I think that's...
I mean, what else are you going to say? Oh, it's the shared exclusive toy that's at Amazon and Pulse and Target.
I think it had to be, it's a Target exclusive, or it's an Amazon exclusive, because everything's Hasbro all day long.
What about this, Rob? I think you had this, right? Was this one of the few... officials you had?
No.
Did you not get this? Did you not get
that? No, we had a whole episode about it. I did not get that.
Forgot.
Yeah, I really would love a better Dino King than the Fans Project one. But that ain't it. And then hearing y'all talk about it did not sell me on it. Quite the opposite. Like the box seemed like the only kind of cool thing. And even that's not really reusable. You can't like put them back in it very nicely. But...
yeah, I kind of wish I would have left it in the box.
Number 4 is ready to join, by the way, Lucas.
What?
Number 4 is ready to join.
Number 4?
You were being mysterious about who the other leftovers were. So
he may not have realized.
Here, I'm ringing him again. Unless it's
on the old banana phone.
A different.
That's possible. It might have multiple Skypios.
Right.
Yeah, I get it with Dino King. Like, one day I'll walk by it on my shelf and I'll look at it and be like, huh, that's pretty cool. I like that. And then one day I'll walk by it and I'll be like, why do I own garbage? I don't remember.
Right.
This is a fun thing. Who's this guy?
Can't hear you.
Uh-oh. Yeah, he's on mute, apparently.
There we go. Hello.
There you are.
There we go. Oh,
Shattered
voice.
Glass
I
Nick.
recognize that voice. Shattered Glass Nick. That's right.
Wait, I'm disappointed. Like, you don't have your Unicron flipping us off in the background anymore.
Yeah, he does.
He's back there somewhere.
He's
He's
back
behind
there.
a pile of
Oh, I
nonsense.
can see it, I guess. Never mind. Sorry. The box is in front of it, but I guess I still see it.
All right. So in honor of completing this list before, let's say before midnight my time, which gives us less than 2 hours.
For the death of the universe.
I think we should just go ahead and get started. So we're going with Christian's categories from last week. And because Christian and I were on a show together for years, I'm going to take Christian's role of shoving us along like he was last week. So, gosh, there's something obstructing my view. That's like a spoiler. Jeez.
It's been there the whole time.
Yeah.
I know, it has. I pushed it out of the view once. Okay, so I think we started with Legacy last time, or did you start with Studio Series, Lucas? What did you start with?
I don't know.
League series,
sure. I think
Studio
it was Legacy
League.
first, then Studio Series.
All right, geez, okay.
But you don't even have to do that. Like, it depends. Or I guess Nick, now, just to confirm, did you buy any third party this year?
I bought one thing.
Oh, there you go. That can be your
third party figure of the year.
It's going to be. I don't remember who made it or what it's called. I can only tell you it's some.
Between the two of us, we gotcha. Don't worry.
Okay.
But
you bought several,
that'll be fun.
plenty of official though, so you'll be the official contingent here, kind of help fill in for Rob.
So we're gonna start with Legacy then, because I don't know, we're starting with Legacy. I think you all start with Legacy because Lucas started with Magmatron. I just watched the episode today, so I kind of remember. So we're gonna start with favorite Legacy figure of the year, Rob.
Okay, well, I was hoping you wouldn't start with me because I'm not picking anything.
That's the joke.
Yeah. I bought like 4 Legacy figures and like they're okay, and I'm glad they exist, but none of them like wow me or whatever. So I'm going to go even more Legacy than Legacy. And
rough to a good start.
You know what? I'm going to actually start off with my first and last purchases of the year, which are Legacy. And it wasn't like, oh, this is going to be my first purchase of 2024. I was scanning my emails and I was like, oh, that's what I bought first. So the first thing I bought, which is definitely a Legacy figure, is Bumble Jumper. So I bought that January, finally checked that off. I'd been waiting on that one a long time. The last thing I bought this year, if you're ever in Kentucky, near Louisville, especially South Louisville, there's a place called the Antique and Toy Mall. It is mostly toys. I highly recommend stopping there. They have all kinds of stuff. It's just rows and rows of cabinets, and people rent out the cabinets and put whatever they want in there. And so you get a real smorgasbord of things. But, there are, Transformers and Ninja Turtles and stuff in there too. Anyways, I picked up this there today. This is the Scorpion watch from Takara.
Nice.
Way back in the day. Scorpion Robo or something like that. And it's one of those that's been on my soft list, like how you got those things like, if I ever see that one day, I might pick it up, right? But you don't like actively go hunt for it. I'm not scouring eBay for it or anything. I mean, because I could buy it off eBay, but that was my last purchase of the year. So I did my first and last super Legacy, but not
That's
from the line.
Legacy of Rob. I get it. I like it because you played with the words, you did some wordplay. I think it totally qualifies. I'm much more polite about the stuff than Christian, so I give that a vote up. Now, next turn.
Well, my Legacy selection could fall under several different categories. But in the interest of keeping my answers varied, I'm going with it here. My pick for Legacy is the San Diego Comic-Con 2-pack with Orion Pax and Gladiator Megatron, because I'm a sucker for that IDW Optimus, as we've established. They had a nice feel to them. They got great deco, and the IDW design is super awesome for me. So that's my pick for Legacy of the Year.
How do you feel about getting
picks.
that Megatron again?
Yeah.
The deco was nice enough that I wasn't mad about it, and I liked his accessories. He had some really nice accessories this time out.
Okay.
So
There
I
you
was,
go. Down my pile. Here's the Megatron.
There we go.
Yeah, it's a neat deco. That is a neat deco. He
Mhm.
looks pretty neat like that.
I'm glad you're able to show it because I had no idea what you were talking about.
Yeah, you don't know
I
about
remember
this,
seeing
Rob?
it. I remember seeing it now because I thought the X's on the chest really distracting, and I did not like them. I thought the rest of the deco was fine. But yeah, I'm remembering it now.
I'm trying to
that's-
see if
yeah.
I can
that's
find
the
my
Siege.
Optimus.
That's Siege Megatron, right?
Yeah.
Not Earthrise.
Is that the Megatron that's been repainted like 1 billion times?
Yes.
Yes.
Repainted,
Yes.
remolded. Yes.
The question is always, is it Siege or Earthrise? Because that one was Siege, right? And then Takara did the dramatic capture, and I got that this year. And that one is actually the Earthrise Megatron, which was actually my first of the mold when I got it. So it's like, this is so new. It's mostly the same toy.
So, I mean, there were a couple of runners-up for Legacy for me. Like, I really liked Silverbolt, but I haven't transformed him enough for him to make top of the list. I really like the deco on fucking Tigertron and Ares, or what the hell, Tigerhawk. Really pretty, but again, I haven't transformed it. I don't think ever. So I don't know that it's fair to say that one doesn't qualify. But the decos were gorgeous on those guys.
Like, I'm really happy they did a Emirate Zeron. I just don't think it's a good toy.
Not Legacy. It does make my list.
Okay,
Spoiler.
I'll save it then. I can't even remember. I just loop it all together. It's Hasbro stuff, mainline stuff.
Well, I did the same thing, last week, and so I guess I can just, put myself on this show and say Gears for Legacy, because I accidentally last week put him in Studio Series, because why wouldn't he be Studio Series, right? Like, this looks like a Studio
he's an
Series
animation
toy.
guy.
But this is actually a Legacy toy, so there you go.
A version
There you
of that
go.
mold does make my list.
I pre-ordered that toy this year, but it hasn't shipped yet. Like, it's like a second run that Pulse did or something.
Oh, yeah.
Extra nice.
And I like Minibots, and he looked cool. So
Yeah, no,
But
this
yeah.
is
He's a lot
actually
of
I'll
a
get
fun
it
to
pretty
fiddle
sometime
with.
next year.
quality figure.
It's a good toy.
Yeah.
I have some thoughts on it, but I bet I'll share those when next year's his pick in a little bit.
I think we're up to
Right.
you, Anna.
Yeah, okay. So Legacy, yeah. I just figured, since I'm a Bumblebee collector, I'll just go with Bumblebee for everything. So here's animated Bumblebee. Oh wait, just kidding. This is mediocre. So instead, we have
Ooh,
best friend. Yeah, Tidal Wave.
I haven't opened mine yet.
Tidal Wave is so good. Like, this is a crazy thing. So, like, I have a ton of Fans Hobby figures, right? Like, I have a bunch of them, and I really like Fans Hobby as a company. And I was standing by my guns. I was going to get the Fans Hobby Tidal Wave. I wasn't going to mess with some mainline Hasbro thing. And I kept seeing pictures. And in the pictures, this thing sure did look like it was going to be better than the Fans Hobby one. And now that the Fans Hobby one's got, full pictures out for me to see, I sure am glad I went with this thing. Because this thing is it is really super cool. There's not many things I walked away from Armada, just like being like, wow, that's a cool thing they added. But Tidal Wave was one of them. A freaking battleship that splits into parts, that's a cool, intimidating guy with different versions depending on the translation. He's just super duper cool. So I was really excited to get this thing, and it does everything the original did, sort of. People are gonna have their mileage on the little additional bits, to put on your Megatrons and your Galvatrons. Like, it's an answer to the question. Probably better than Fans Hobby's answer, right? Theirs was to make it small enough that it goes on their Megatron. And Hasbro's was just to make, like, you know, sizes, nonsense, and Transformers. So here you go. Sizes, nonsense, and Transformers. So I think it works pretty well. But this is so fun. This is a really cool, you know, end of the big Titans, since y'all already typed the Star Convoy coming. So, yeah, I'm really happy about this thing. And I really do think this is the coolest Legacy thing. And I know, I saw last time that one of us said, one of our friends of the show said that it's unfair to use Titans and Commanders in this list and compare them to others. I don't think it is.
Fairness doesn't have anything to do with it's our favorite toys of the year. Who gives a shit?
Also, there've been some Titan duds over the years, so why wouldn't you compare them?
like the Nemesis, like wouldn't really go on a favorites of the year list for me.
Still have an open mind.
It's fun, it's neat, but it's
no right? Black Zarek.
Right, Black Zarek is fantastic, and Tidal Wave is just so good. The colors are good, the details are good. His crotch and nipple turrets move. I mean, it's like there's really nothing I can complain about with this toy.
I didn't get Tidal Wave, but I really wanted to. It's one of those, like, I just don't have a space for him, you know, and he's not G1, so I can't make a space for him. You know, it's just one of those, like, had to make a decision, and I'll just keep my Armada one. You know, it's one of the few Unicron Trilogy toys I still have. And, you know, it's just, yeah, it's a space thing. He looks great.
I still have mine too. I get it. You know, it's just a really good toy, and I make room for Tidal Wave. I'll make room for Tidal Wave. I do have one complaint about it, and you already know what it is. I think everyone already knows what it is. There's no Ramjet, right? No Minicon.
Yeah.
You know, and that's just
kills me.
The lack of Minicons has been an annoyance with Hasbro doing all this Armada stuff, and you know they give us too many cons in weird releases, and then released Armada Wheeljack without the Minicon. And it's just the dumbest nonsense. So I'm grumpy about that. But otherwise, this thing's perfect. Seriously...
Go ahead.
I momentarily considered getting the Fans Hobby Tidal Wave just so I could have a new Ramjet to go with this. It was a very slight consideration. It's a little expensive for a Minicon.
Oh, it'll come as a stretch goal or whatever for the next HasLab or something. That's a completely unrelated figure, and you know, as long with the rest of our Minicon teams.
I answered Taylor's question already. Taylor asked if I had any desire to get the Fans Hobby Tidal Wave, and I answered it. Only for the Minicon. Otherwise, it's worse in every way. All right, so that marks the end of our Legacy discussion. We can move on to Studio Series. And we're just going to keep it the same rotation. So what joke do you have for Studio Series, Rob?
I think this is a Studio Series. If it's not, we're going to say it is. It's close enough. It's the only figure I bought that I think might even be Studio Series. And again, it's not even a great figure, but I'd probably go with Origin Wheeljack just because it exists. You know, it's like, you know, first 2 minutes of the series, it started it all right for us. You know, no one's made it before, and you can even fit Bumblebee in it for some reason, which is silly, but you know, I like silly. You know, but yeah, I don't know. I was like, I'm just it's not as bad as I found Emirate Zeron to be. You know, like it's not great, but it's not bad either. And I don't know, just I'm happy it exists. It makes me smile. I think it's Studio Series, but I don't know. It's animation derived, so I'm gonna pretend it is.
Technically a Legacy figure.
Is it? Damn it. Well,
it is. Okay.
Although the Bumblebee was, you know, buzzworthy Bumblebee, and that's technically Studio Series.
Well, see, that's what I thought.
So,
I thought it, because that's who I have it next to. You know, is Jazz and Bumblebee from that episode 1. So I just assumed it was that line. Silly me.
I think it captures the Studio Series spirit because it's capturing an animation thing, right? It's like, this is this dumb thing that happened in animation, and here we go.
Yeah.
So
it's very specifically a screen moment. So.
Yeah. I think it's a really
pretend I swapped mine.
Type toy.
I don't know.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. I wanted to talk about that figure anyway. Like, I seriously thought about including it just so I could mention it because it is a cool thing that happened this year, Box Jack. Like, it's so goofy that we finally got that, and it's cool.
Transformation's a little less than intuitive.
Yeah.
But this is a minor quibble.
Yeah, not toy of the year, but fun.
Yes.
Well, I forgot that even came out this year, just because it's been. I don't know. All this stuff kind of flows together, and then you're sitting there trying to look and say, "All right, did this come out last year or this year?" Because everything comes out around the holiday season.
I had to go back and look at my database to see what arrived when to make my list.
Yeah, I have to go look
from
at
the 400 or 500 things I bought this year. So
I have to go look at order histories from a few sites and search my emails to just figure out when did stuff actually get shipped out, and just try to remember because I can't remember.
Yeah.
All right.
Am I up next?
Nick.
All right. My studio series pick for the year is Swoop. I was happy to finish my Dinobots. He comes with all those swords. The transformation is nice and simple for such a big toy. He makes me very happy.
Swoop was divisive last week, right?
Really?
We had it picked, somebody thought it was the best, and then there was some argument about how it wasn't that great in some ways. And I think that's a very valid discussion about Swoop, because that bird mode is never going to actually be good because it just isn't.
It's going to look like the cartoon in the toy.
It's going to look like the cartoon in the toy, yeah. So you're always
they were never very good.
Mode and then be like, there's something wrong with this.
Yeah.
I don't think it was necessarily that divisive. I think it was more of a, oh, well, this is in my top list, and you're like, oh no, this is in my next tier list because I had a few toys that I like better than that.
I think it was Duran who was really bothered by the wings, not being big enough. And I think that it comes from the fact that Duran collects third party and has gotten swoops with, the big wings, whereas mainline collectors just have never got a swoop that's good, right? It is far and away the best swoop that a mainline collector has gotten.
Fun to transform. Sometimes that's all I want.
It is, because honestly, when I was
Simple man.
The first time, I was this looks stupid. And then I was like, wait, I'm having fun with it. Who cares if it looks stupid? Swoop does look stupid. So it was all good.
Yeah. So,
he had to poop his tail out like a certain snarl.
I don't think this was this year, but I bought it this year. But it is a Swoop that just happens to be on my desk because I was still fiddling with it. Yeah, New Age G2 Swoop. Do you think they're going to repaint the Studio Series Swoop into G2?
Yeah.
At some point.
Yeah, it's like we're getting G2.
Yeah.
Well, we're getting the G2s that happened. Now we have to see if we'll get the G2s that didn't happen, which I figure we will.
They did Tiger Stripe Grimlock. So, yeah, they're showing they're willing to dip into that world at least.
They're going to do every Grimlock they possibly can.
And maybe, hopefully, they'll get into G2 Swoop.
See, now I want to know if they're going to do turquoise Grimlock.
Yeah,
they're doing blue.
So, turquoise, will it come?
Well, technically, there were a lot of G2 Dinobots, weren't there? As far as the various colors, right? So
3 each.
Yeah.
Although the gray was just the G1 with the G2 logo slapped on it, so whatever.
Right.
So Studio Series. I'll finish up with Studio Series because, I just really think we need to talk about Bumblebee. And since we're talking about the most disappointing figures of the year, this Bumblebee seems good. Oh, wait. No, we were talking about the best figures of the year. So I'm just going to do what everybody else did and just mention this guy as, a ridiculous toy. This is just a crazy release, right?
Who was that? About it last week. Is that some obscure character?
I haven't transformed mine yet. That's why he didn't make my list.
Yeah, this is called American Flag Truck. He's a famous transformer.
Also, I was really pissed about the heels.
So
yeah, they talked about the heels last week. It was
seriously,
funny.
You can't even tell.
What's wrong with the heels?
They're upside down. God damn it!
Yeah,
these are supposed to be the other way around.
Hasn't that happened in another Optimus release? I swear it has.
I think it has.
Maybe.
That feels really familiar.
It has no impact on anything, but I guess apparently there we go.
Well, Nick disagrees. It impacts him.
So this thing's crazy. this figure is, just Lucas mentioned it last week, and I really appreciated you mentioning that since I wasn't there, that this guy really does kind of up the ante for Studio Series figures. And I think that's part of why, when I look back at the Studio Series Bumblebee that I was already disappointed in, it's just like, how is this so iffy and mediocre when this is just so freaking spot on to the animation model, because that's what Studio Series is supposed to be, right? So it just makes some of the other toys a little more frustrating than they used to be, which is kind of like the negative about it, but it's so damn good.
But it was a bit more, quite a bit more expensive typically as well, right?
It's a commander
class.
It's a
commander.
Yeah.
So,
basically, in
$90.
Earthrise, we got a similar size, a little bit smaller Optimus with a trailer and stuff for the leader price, and then we went up to commander price to get this. But it's kind of like how that Voyager Hot Rod from a while back for 86 was, it's a deluxe figure that's Voyager plus complexity, and this is probably one of the most complex Studio Series 86 figures there's ever been, right?
what
this
did
is really
Hasbro call this in their interviews?
I don't know. It's something like a small good thing, a little best work. Oh, mini masterpiece. That was the word.
Does it follow a lot of cues from the MP44 transformation, or do y'all know?
I don't know because I never
transformed
MP44.
Yeah.
It's not a frustrating transformation. I think it's got some similar backpack logic where they did a lot of backpack compromise with it, which is good, because it didn't end up as a big backpack, and it works because Optimus is a very front-facing character. But
Flapjack backpack stack.
Hey man, it collapses really well though.
It does. It collapses really well. It looks really good. He's really impressive. I think he could really up the ante for what we expect from figures in the future. I don't think he will, though. I think he's just
an Optimus that good is only going to lead to a disappointing Megatron.
Yes.
Yeah, Megatron's going to be probably disappointing, I'm sure.
And I think Duran was right last week when he was like, people really need to lighten up on that New Age Romulus, because people are saying the New Age Romulus, which is supposed to be a companion piece for this. He's a leader size, fancy, complex gun Megatron, and people are saying, ooh, he's shorter than the Optimus, and he's not good enough, and he's over $100, and blah, 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 blah. The thing we're going to get of Studio Series Megatron, it's probably not going to be nearly this Optimus, right? If he's going to turn into a tank, he probably actually can't look that much like the screen accurate Megatron. And if he's going to be at the leader price, he can't be complex enough to look this nice. So, anyway.
He could look like the animation model if they do a bunch of shell forming, but then everybody's going to bitch about that.
And maybe they'll surprise you, right?
Yeah, maybe.
I've been saying it for a long time. Just make him non-transforming and just make him come with a gun, because his transformation is impossible anyway, right? You can't shrink something. So who cares anymore? Just throw it out the window. Make a good Megatron to go with this guy, and it's fine.
Welcome to Transformers, where the physics are made up and the alt modes don't matter.
So let's see what the next category in the list is. I don't remember the order.
I want to say one thing about that Bumblebee that's killing me. It's like the Netflix Bumblebee is a better Bumblebee than that one. How do you screw that up that badly?
I don't know. I like that Bumblebee. To be honest, the only thing that annoys me is it's like I just want the one really good Bumblebee, and there's probably half a dozen Bumblebees that it's like, oh, I really like this about this one, and I really like that about that one. Whereas there's not one that puts it all together. So there's some stuff that
variety and choice is good. I like having options, but I would also like a definitive Bumblebee, please.
Right.
And for now, that's still my Netflix one.
Yeah, the Netflix one is better. It's just the only thing that's worse about it is the parts forming. So next one's exclusive, and we'll go to Rob.
I almost didn't have anything for this, but then I thought of something. This is a PFCon exclusive that I got this year. It's Blockies.
I'm so jelly.
Blockies are really stupid. I don't understand the hype. I don't know why. I know they're very popular with certain people. I don't get it. at all. So it is definitely, blockies is not my market, but I like collecting the PFCon stuff, and I was able to be there in person, and I literally flew out for it. So just to spend a night with people I like. So no, it was a good time, and I got that, and we got another one too that we did that we dyed parts on and stuff. We were trying to make G2 Grimlock. The gray did not take the blue very well, but it was still fun. It was all more about doing it than the final product, anyways. But yeah, so that's my exclusive.
Cool.
That custom blockies, that exclusive blocky, it's just really, it's fun to do it at Tox, and it's a very enjoyable thing. I have one too, and it makes me happy. It lives in a happy place on my shelf.
Yeah, I think that's the only exclusive I bought. Although I don't know, something may be Target exclusive or something, but I think that's a lame way to label exclusive, because
exclusives get me so bad. I'm a total shill for exclusives. It's terrible. But Nick,
my exclusive of the year is the GoBots 3-pack, because I am a sucker for GoBots. I was really excited to get those guys.
I was gonna say, I don't even think I've opened mine up yet.
Oh, they're all good molds. They're all fun.
I handed that to you after my farewell breakfast before I left forever.
And I haven't even opened it. It's just because I was
so sad. I haven't even opened it. Yeah, it's a sadness toy. It took me forever to open mine, and they're something, all right. They're definitely something.
Because I like that Gears mold so much, and I like that it was Smallfoot as the character. Yeah, so that's great. And then the Pathfinder UFO is fun because it's Cosmos, and it's I like the blue. It's pretty blue.
That's a good toy.
And just the Warpath is fun to fiddle with. I like transforming that one too. So.
Oh, here we go. All right.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, good stuff.
So
look how cool a Smallfoot is.
See, there you go, Rob. Don't you wish you had this?
No, I was really tempted by that. The reason I didn't buy them is I've actually been buying the New Age e-hobby mini-bot repaints slowly. Like, I think 4 of them are out now. I think Warpath we're still waiting on. And I think there's another one that. Oh, and the Smallfoot isn't out yet. So because I'm buying those, I passed on that GoBot set. But it did look like a cool set.
It's a cool set. It's the Smallfoot stuff for me, because it looks really cool. I wish they would have finished the head a little bit more with a couple more paint apps. But for me, when you put it into truck mode, the way they did her colors, like on Gears, it pulls up the truck mode really well. But without his specific paint job, I just feel like the truck mode is way more like, ooh, this is an approximation. This is some sort of rhombus they're telling me is a truck, right? And you're not as convinced by it. But I was really glad to see not only that there was a GoBots pack, but also that they put, 2 woman characters together in a box set of 3. That's actually really surprising for Hasbro to go that direction. So that's good. Kudos to them for doing it, even though they're repaints. And kudos to actually trying to give Smallfoot her head, right? Like, they didn't just use the Gears head. And that was nice. Pathfinder, they did. They just used the stupid Cosmos head. Pathfinder has a super cool head too. Like, her actual robot's head is so cool. I like the way Pathfinder looks, but whatever. So yeah, that's a fun set. I agree. I'm glad Lucas opened it.
There you go. Finally,
he cut the tape.
He cut the tape.
What about you, Anna?
So, as I was told that our exclusives had to be an official figure, I went with the.
Who said this? Christian?
Just in tongue-in-cheek. We were just goofing around. It's all just a joke. It's okay. Yeah. But I decided I would go with the Fanbook exclusive 2024 Bumblebee figure, since everything's Bumblebee. But I'm not actually going with that. It's just another Bumblebee joke. I actually really have to go with a specific thing that happened much earlier in the year that happened so long ago that it feels like it wasn't in the same year. And that's that NMC made another freaking Rosanna, right? Like, that just totally blew my mind. And this could almost be my surprise of the year, too, is, this was a Rosanna and at the same time, a Flip Sides. right?
Yay.
Rosanna and Flipsides. So here we have two ultra obscure characters, right? Like everybody knows from me that Rosanna comes from Kiss Players. But do most people even know where Flipsides is from? Do most people even know any fiction at all for Flipsides?
I don't know the fiction, but I have the
Hogwarts and
original.
Cast, right?
Yeah.
And there
I
isn't
have
a whole
her.
lot of not a whole lot of fiction for her. But yeah, she's just a hobby, whatever, happened type of thing, and now has a figure. And this mold, I'm assuming, Rob, you have
Yes.
relined in.
It's excellent.
I always wanted to say reject. This mold is fantastic. Like it is such a fast transformation that it's fun and intuitive to get something that looks and feels and plays this good out of something that looks just like an actual cassette. Like this is a really, really good mold. I think everyone should own, and everyone should own either Rosanna or Flipsides because they're oddball, strange characters. So I was so excited about these exclusives that I was at the con to get both of them. Very happy.
Both of those have really tempted me, but I held off just because it's like, I don't know. I think they're awesome. Great mold. I love the colors, but it's just space.
How many toys can you own, right? Like,
Yeah.
you find yourself asking yourself that question a lot in this hobby.
Some people should ask themselves that question, and they don't.
Why you look at me when you say that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, how many toys can you own?
All of them.
Okay, looks like the next category is going to be really hard for Rob to do because it's something called 3Ps. I don't really know what that's about.
So I'm going to do a couple categories in this one because this is all I buy.
Collect.
Yeah. And I'm actually going to start off with a category that's not on here, and that's Masterpiece.
Ooh.
And it's funny because I only bought 2 Masterpiece figures this year, like official Masterpiece. But my favorite of the 2 is Masterpiece Rhinox.
Yay.
I mean, I don't know. There's nothing really I can say about it, I don't think. I mean, it's great. And it
That
looks
was so dang good.
It's so great in both modes. It's just excellent. I mean, I don't know. It's just A+ across the board. It's great. The only other Masterpiece I bought was Hoist, who was just kind of check the box. I mean, it's good, but it's check the box. And I got the MPG Genrai, but that's not in yet. It's in the mail. But yeah, so that's my Masterpiece. Then I'm going to do 3P Beast Wars Masterpiece.
Well, I was gonna mention too, though, that Hoist, right? Like one of the things about that is third party has already done a couple different Hoists.
So many
right?
Hoists.
So it's like when you get that, you're like, okay, well, this is cool, but it really has to blow you away to do it. Whereas like Rhinox, like, I mean, we haven't really had a Masterpiece Rhinox, and like that's one thing that's actually kind of nice that. They've done some like oversized knockoffs and things like that. But like, there's nothing like
that was my stand-in that I sold my stand-in at TFCon this year. And this is just a great figure. Like honestly, I feel most of the Masterpiece Beast Wars line is. And the rumor is Rat Trap is next, and that Waspinator and Pterosaur I think are being worked on, or no, Tarantulas. Waspinator and Tarantulas are like in the early design phases. But that's internet rumors. We'll see when it comes out, right? If anything comes out. Masterpiece has never been a fast line, and now it's really even slower. But for my third party Masterpiece for Beast Wars, I'm going to give it to Transmetal 2 Dinobot or Dinobot 2 from Transart. And Transart may be done. There's some rumors going around about that like their stuff didn't sell as well as they would like, and they're just they lost passion in it, and they were almost done anyways, honestly. They only had the big guys left, Tigerhawk, Rampage, and Depth Charge. They've done everything else that's season 2 and up.
Man, I would kill for a Masterpiece level Rampage. Holy crap.
A couple companies have teased those big guys, but nothing's ever come out. Transart's the only people. Yeah. But this guy's, I don't know, I think probably the most complex thing Transart has done. And I mean, again, he looks great. The transformation I don't think Transart ever overcomplicates things. I think I actually try to simplify as much as I can. But this one's pretty involved, and it does some neat stuff. But I still was able to figure it out on my own. It just took longer than their figures usually take me. But yeah, that's my third-party Beast Wars.
It was neat.
Yeah.
So big.
That's huge. I mean, they make their stuff in scale other than their Optimal Optimus, which is way too small. I don't know what the deal is with that. I don't know why they didn't size it up. But my last third-party toy that I'm going to talk about, probably just it's hard to say because to pick who I want to, because a lot of, I don't know, 3PMP is weird right now in my opinion. Most people are just doing combiners. Fans Toys, I think, just does boring stuff. Like, they do not say they do bad stuff, but no, it's like, oh man, X Transbots does like weird obscure characters, which is cool, but they're not the best figures. But it's like, you know, they did Runabout and Run Amok. Like, I like those figures, but they got issues. But I'm happy they exist, and they've now done 2 of the Omnibots, and of those 2, Downshift is really nice. He just feels really solid. The first transformation, there's some parts that don't want to break apart the way they're supposed to, that kind of make you scared, but then after that, it was fine. So he was pretty close, probably to my favorite, but I'm gonna give it to MMC's Groove instead. Again, there's a lot of combiners coming out right now from everybody, but it's probably my favorite bike former, at least I can think off the top of my head, that I still own at least. But MMC usually doesn't do a lot of paint, and this guy has a lot of paint. And like every MMC figure ever, it's super easy to transform, like very easy to figure out. You know, it's mostly like big movements. You know, you can fiddle with it. Whatever bends, you can eventually figure out why does that bend and where to go. So, I don't know. I'm excited to see this combiner continue to come together. But yeah, that's what I give. Probably my favorite 3P of the year. Oh, there's other stuff, but
yeah, I've only heard good things about that, about Groove, and MMC Groove.
Negative about MMC, other than I don't think their Devastator looks that great, but I bet the toys are still awesome, just because everything they do is great from an engineering perspective.
It is. It's really impressive. Welcome to the show number 5.
Hey, buddy.
Anna, your hair is absolutely more red than usual tonight.
Better lighting. Better lighting.
My lighting is very bad.
It's actually super faded. Actually, it was way redder than this.
Oh, well. Thought I was talking to Asuka Soru Langley. But I'll settle for Anna.
In case you missed it, Paul, this was my exclusive of the year.
No way.
It's the only one I have, I think.
Sick.
But either way, yeah.
Thanks. That tickles my fancy.
Yeah, I think
so Paul, you have to catch up. Do you have a favorite official figure of the year, like Legacy or Studio Series, or are you?
Honestly, I think the Galaxy Force Starscream is amazing. Like, that is an awesome toy. Like, what? I've seen some shade thrown at that, and I'm like, what fucking planet are we living on where people aren't in love with this thing? Like, this is absolutely amazing. I love it.
There it is.
Yeah, look at that thing. I mean, you can take the it does everything. It's absolutely wonderful. And it's a shelf former. Whatever.
I did enjoy that.
Does that count?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's your Legacy. Right. You got a Studio Series?
Are we doing every toy line?
So
Legacy, Studio Series, and then exclusive. That's what we're up to.
We're on third party.
Yeah, Rob just started us on third party.
Can I come back? I need to think about the Studio Series one. But, I mean, you know, the Missing Link stuff is the greatest. So, I don't know where that lands.
Probably one of the 2 later categories, such as something else.
Okay. Excellent.
So yeah,
did you have any exclusive?
My third party.
Oh, exclusive. Sorry,
yeah.
I missed that one. I mean, did anyone say bump of chicken convoy yet?
Is that actually
have
out
a bump
yet?
of chicken?
Yeah, it's out.
Okay.
It was available for sale, but I don't think it's shipped yet.
No, people have it. I mean,
Wow.
people have it in hand. I don't know
Yeah.
if they got it at the concerts or like what, but
Because all I've seen are pre-orders for sale. So maybe the in-concert ones happened and the ones off the website didn't or something like that. I don't know.
There are human hands that have touched the bump of chicken.
This one looked a lot more interesting than the Bumblebee bump of chicken.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it looks like hot trash, like knockoff Big Lots garbage.
It's glorious.
It's wonderful. I mean, I'm not gonna pay bump of chicken prices for it, but it is definitely pretty great that it exists. I feel like the guys, they made it sound like the band designed it, and I feel like they tried to make something people wouldn't buy. And that's what they ended up with.
It has J Balvintron energy. That is
Yeah.
It does.
For fuck's sake.
Yeah, shock to the bump of chicken guys. They you can't make a transformer people won't buy. It comes people like all of us. Try to make it hideous and we'll think it's even better.
I don't think a lot of people bought that Godzilla Optimus. The one that
Is that even
Hasbro
for sale?
pretended didn't even
That's a tough
exist.
one.
Nick
Does it
did.
say Hasbro never even put it up, did they?
No, they put up the Megatron, but not the Optimus, and I don't know why.
Because they're like, nope, no one wants it. Minimum was how many? Nah, see ya.
It's all right. I'll just get mine somewhere else for more money.
I mean, it was available. The stuff is available for Japanese retail. It's not. You don't have to go.
It's not too hard to get Japanese retail stuff these days. Just a little effort.
So what about 3P, Paul? Did you buy any 3P? Noteworthy?
Gary. Looks cool.
Okay. Yeah, Duran
Gary?
did that too.
Yeah.
Who's
That's
Gary?
That's a Fans Toys Constructor Corn, right?
Oh, okay. Got it.
It
Which one
looks
is
really
it?
good. I mean, I don't know how if the rest of them are going to look as good as Scrapper, but you know,
TBD.
good one to start with.
You can always count on Fans Toys to get you the like shelf presence bot modes. They pull
For
that
sure.
off. They pull off those shelf presence bot modes. It's kind of boring, like Rob said sometimes. Like it's just there's no surprises. They're going to be making imported characters, and they're going to be screen accurate, and they're going to be long, difficult transformations that get you a screen accurate vehicle. But
I mean,
they do their thing.
I still have, like, I'm glad they finally wrapped up Superion this year, but I still haven't put it together. It's sitting there right behind me. I've been lazy.
It's probably a weekend project.
Well, and also I have to make space for it. I got to rework some of my masterpiece shelves at this point to fit that combined mode in there. And I know what I'm going to do, but it's some work. Moving the glass shelves sucks. It's a real pain, especially once the glass doors are in. It's really a pain. But yeah, so I've been very much putting it off.
All right, back on schedule. Nick, third party of the year.
All right, who's doing the little teeny tiny guys that are like?
Usually
Dr.
New
Wu.
Age
Dr. Wu?
and
No,
Micromasters? The
no,
Micromaster Skull?
they did like a teeny tiny little Perceptor, and I think it came with a grapple or something like that, or a
Yeah,
road
that's
hand.
Dr. Wu.
Is it?
Yeah, Dr. Wu.
Yeah, Dr. Wu's doing
Oh.
the 2-packs. Of
Yeah,
the
you got to
Micromaster
buy the
size.
two of them as a set. Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're itty bitty. That's my pick. Is that Perceptor for the third party stuff?
The Perceptor's pretty cool. Like for some reason it doesn't do it for me. But I get like as a bot, it's really cool. And I just think a microscope of that size for me is just like I can't tell what it is anymore.
Well, it's a
It's
Perceptor that my Generations
Cat?
guys could use,
It is.
which is what drew me
That's
to it. It's like,
actually
oh,
cool.
cool. He's like, the size mass changing. Now he's in scale with everybody else.
do you need a microscope to look at it? Is that
Oh, yeah.
what I'm hearing?
You do. You need a microscope to see your microscope, and you should use a full-size microscope to look at your G1 Perceptor microscope, and then through that look at your Dr. Wu.
Well,
It's like a
Inception these
microscope.
toys.
Yeah, no. So the Dr. Wu toys are really cool, and I cannot hype them enough. Like, if there's anybody who hasn't jumped on and tried them, they're not that expensive. They're fun. They're interesting. And, they bring shame to the mainline MicroMasters because they show you what you can do with a toy of that size. And yeah, they cost about twice as much as mainline MicroMasters. But is that a bad thing when they're actually like good toys that you really enjoy? I don't know. So then in that vein, I'll say my third party pick of the year, since I'm going with all bumblebees, was going to be Dr. Wu Bumblebee, right? Because just all bumblebees. Again, not actually. What I actually picked was, this got reissued this year, so it counts, is it finally got a Fans Hobby Double Evil.
Nice.
Isn't a straight reissue, it's actually improved. Comes
Really?
with 2 sets of the Power Master Friends, so you can have the cartoon accurate or not as cartoon accurate engine sides for them. A little bit different paint apps here and there.
The blue looks a lot lighter.
Right, it's supposed to be a little more screen looking on this paint job. This figure is just like, I don't know how you feel about it, Rob, but I think this figure is just absolutely fantastic. Like, it's overwhelmingly big and complex and neat. And it's not complex in the bad way of like complex transformation, but it's complex as in having all sorts of cool details and cool moving hands and all.
He doesn't have the IDW lips, does he?
I don't think so.
Not quite to the IDW level.
That's the thing about this version of it. It's like the toy. It's like if the IDW thing never happened.
Yes.
It's like this would be the idealized Overlord from, since his inception. And if you just ignore that IDW happened, this is what you'd come up with.
Right now.
Because otherwise you would do the fucking IDW one every time.
It's the closest to Masterpiece Overlord that we have right now.
It is. It'll look pretty good with your official Genrai when he comes out, right? Like, that's going to be the Overlord to go with the official Genrai when he comes out.
Probably like there he is with Unicron and Titans. He
So
feels
big.
small compared to them, but he's not a small figure. But next to those, yeah, he does.
Overlord. It's
The thing-
Overlord to go.
I don't think that's a real song.
It is now.
But you said it.
This thing is massive and it's just neat, and the 2 vehicle modes are really cool when they're separate. They're cool, they're fun to play with, and they're both huge when it's separate. This is what Mega and Giga formed together in the cartoon, and it makes my Super God Master Force shelf that much cooler because it has the families getting together. We don't have the Decepticon Juniors yet, but if anybody hasn't seen Super God Master Force, Mega and Giga are 2 super weirdos and the main bad guys who try to make a family out of random street children that they make into Headmaster Juniors. It's a weird plot and it's wonderful. It's my favorite Transformers series. That's why I was so happy to get this thing. Like, it's so impressive. And this is one of those, like, if you're only going to own a few Transformers, which none of us are guilty of, then this would be a really nice shelf piece.
Yeah, it looks great.
Really fun. Great colors. Great plastic. It's really cool. All right, so let's see what's our next category here. Looks like it's
something
else.
Yeah. Well, this one's obvious. Missing Link Prime.
There you go.
Still have an open mind.
Oh, you got
what are we gonna do?
Blaspheme! How dare you?
What are we gonna do with you?
Boo this man.
Even if I didn't really enjoy this figure, it would still be on here just because we're getting more Missing Link. It's the line that, I can't say, I didn't know I wanted, because we've all been saying it for 20 years or whatever, that like, oh man, G1 but with articulation would be cool. That could be fun. But now it's happening, and so they started off with a bang, and I don't know, I'm really looking forward to Bumblebee and Cliff Jumper getting in, and then I think I ordered both of the. I think I ordered Cordon and Sunstreaker, just because I couldn't. Well, I knew I was going to get Sunstreaker and Cordon. Just I love those colors, but even though he's a cop, right? But
this is everyone that wishes they had a sealed MISB G1 collection, lining the back wall of their room, which I mean, some people do, which means other people wish they did. This is the chance to like do it over. Start from scratch, not even care about the old shit, and just like scratch that itch. This stuff is so awesome.
I mean, we did a whole episode on this guy. And even then it was just, we all talked about like those feels we got with, you get the box and it's just like, oh man, and you open it and it really, brought all those feels. Cause this is the one that had the trailer and stuff. I didn't bother to Tetris that from my shelf. But the real problem is just, I don't know where to put these. I just kind of shoved this one on my G1 shelf. Again, it was pretty difficult, but I don't know what I'm going to do with the more that are coming out because I have to buy them. So
I'm gonna reiterate what I said on the front end about these guys, and Generations is already posable. I don't need. Like, I bought this stuff anyway because I buy it all anyway, but
Nick, you haven't opened it.
That's why I've been putting it off, because it's like,
I'm telling you, Rob and I said this again on the first show that we did, or when we did a review show, is there's something about it when you open this up, it's just different. It just hits different than Generations. Yeah, it just takes you back, and so
it's like
you owe it to yourself to spend some time, open it up, and just mess around with it.
Every time you held your original Optimus Prime toy and you were like, I want to pose this guy heroically, and you're like grabbing the shoulder and you're like, it just doesn't move this way. You grab this one and you're like, I'm going to pose him heroically, and he does it. And it's just
but he looks
moment.
goofy.
It's just
the original Optimus Prime toy is goofy looking.
It's just the
most
feeling.
one is.
Are you saying your entry point into Transformers wasn't the Ladybird books, Nick?
Speaking of goofy.
Well, there's a whole contingent of this fandom that cares about the toy look versus the cartoon look. And this is Boner City for them. Absolutely. 100%. They've been waiting for this forever.
And also, as I said earlier, I'm glad that there are options for folks, but it just doesn't.
Well, then sell yours at a show. And just
I gotta have the complete. I gotta have everything. Remember, that's what I do. Everything.
But you never will. It's impossible.
Sure, I will.
No, you won't. There's tons of things you cannot have. You got all those lucky draws.
Someday. I just got to live long enough for the rest of these people to die.
Well, good luck with that.
I'm not.
You live in America.
I'm not gonna be the first one out.
That's a fun topic. I just talked to someone the other day. It was like, oh, getting lucky draws is hard. I was like, well, considering people of means back when lucky draws were coming out are now getting up towards 60, it might be easier to get them soon.
Why do you think I own a comic shop? So that people will sell me things. That was the whole point.
All right.
I don't know. You're not supposed to deal with your own stash, though. You're not supposed to smoke what you sell. I think we know what Paul's something else.
Yeah, but now I'm doing an order on my screen. Thank you very much, Rob. I'm piloting. So Nick is next in the list here. And
you had Paul go first before Nick last round.
Yeah, because things got chaotic and I didn't like it. Lucas started being like, "Oh, Paul, do this and that." No. We're both back in order on Anna's screen.
All right.
Nick next.
My something else is Blockies. They are the big hit of the year for me. I love the Blockies. I love everything about them. I have everything they've done so far. They are phenomenal. They're great little toys. They are so much fun to build. Like, just everything about them blew my mind. I bought them thinking this is gonna suck, and then I cracked them open, and that's so cool.
Cut
anyway.
the feed.
I could not be more excited. And I'm talking specifically about the little blind box ones. I haven't actually had a chance to mess with any of the larger kits yet. Although they're actually similarly scaled, although they come in a larger box. But the Galaxy class stuff, the Shining stuff, holy fuck, are these things cool. Just
there was a lot. I mean, go ahead.
Once you build the first one and you get the hang of how they go together, all of a sudden the whole line just opens up, and so all the possibilities are there, and like these are great. They're fun little fidget toys. They could pose all different ways. The build is just so satisfying the way they snap together, and the light up ones add a whole other level to it that I didn't think I was going to give a shit about. And then like I tapped the first one and I was like, oh, this is really cool. So they've totally got me on the blockies, man. It's
I want to say two things about blockies before Paul runs off with it, because Paul's really into blockies. One is that I do have a classic class kit to build tomorrow during D&D, so I'll be able to finally talk about whether or not they're fun. So that should be enjoyable. And two,
which one?
My husband got me the Nemesis Prime from an FYE store because they're selling them randomly. So I'll have a cool glowy Nemesis Prime. It looks really neat in the box, at least. So we'll see how it comes out because I haven't built one yet. Other thing I want to say is that one of the next waves is going to be the Transformers 1 characters, and I think that's a really good way to get the Transformers 1 cast.
They are all available now at St. Mark's Comics.
Right.
And probably Collecticon too, I imagine.
Just Sentinel Prime.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's the only one that fucking matters.
I'm thinking I'm going to buy an extra Sentinel Prime to build. From the
Paul,
class stuff.
Just out of curiosity, the figure you were showing off before, was that?
Oh, there was no figure there. That was.
Oh, okay.
That was a figment of your imagination.
Fair enough. So hopefully that answers the chat question. They were also wondering in the chat what you're drinking.
What were you
tonight.
Drinking?
Is there a?
Yeah, sure. I'm actually drinking something spectacular. It is a Bourbon County Stout.
Ooh,
oh, there you go.
From Goose Island.
I love those.
I got them for New Year's, didn't drink them, so I'm like, well, here we go.
New Year's, new toys. So your turn, Paul. You can talk about blockies if you want to, but it's something else category.
Say something about blockies before you interrupted.
And I interrupted you.
But
yeah.
before we move off Nick, just I love you, Nick, right?
Yeah.
So this is where this comes from, but you're everything wrong with fandom. You think Missing Link is stupid and blockies are great. You are in Bizarro World. You are Shattered Glass Nick today. That is the worst opinions I've ever heard back to back in my entire fandom life. And I can't think of any that would be worse. So
look, I get why Missing Link is attractive to some folks, and that's fine. They may be great. It's just it doesn't speak to me.
I think you're just scared to take her to bed because you're not sure how hot she really is. You might become her slave, Nick. I mean, you already are, but you might as well just embrace it because it's great. It's the best.
All right.
I always try to figure out who is gonna like what too, because I don't necessarily know that I would have pegged Anna as someone who really liked the Missing Link, or at least the Optimus, and you really liked it. And then Nick, I would have figured he probably would have, and then Blockies, I would have thought that Anna would have loved Blockies, but then you are in the same camp as Rob, where it's you don't like it. Yeah, so.
Well, what I wanted to say about Blockies is they really won the second party worldwide Transformer collectible bullshit, non-transforming shit wars. I mean, it was like GoBots versus Transformers. It was Blockies and everyone else.
I cannot believe the incredible amount of product we have moved in the last 6 weeks on this brand.
Right?
We have ordered and 3 or 4 orders, which is unheard of for a vendor for us.
Right.
Absolutely insane.
They just scratch an itch.
Yeah. I wonder how successful they'll be once they get away from the G1 cast. Like you said, they're already doing.
Oh, I think
they're sneaking in Shattered Glass. They're sneaking in IDW. I couldn't be more excited.
Yeah, this next. Anna, you mentioned the classic series was TF1, right? Because the next Galaxy size wave is like more comic based than
Shattered Glass Ratchet.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that this is the perfect thing that like the Funko Pops, right? I mean, it's kind of a similar thing where it's like it's $10 or $8 or whatever the heck you charge, like around that. It's like, yeah, like
Impulse
relatively
buys.
cheap, and
I'm
it's
at
a fun little
Walmart
thing
for
to put together.
$5.50.
Right. I mean, yeah, you can't find stuff for that anymore. So
They just did everything right, and now there's even cheaper ones coming out.
The little mini guys, right?
The little
I don't know how big
Defender
they
ones.
are,
I want to see those.
but
Those
they look
look
really simplistic. But
They are great.
Yeah.
They're different. They don't feel exactly the same, but they have the DNA anyway. Anyways, just saying there was lots of choices this year with like little non-transforming characters, and Blocky's killed everybody. Like it just and I think like these companies specialize on certain like price points. Blocky's got the little cheap guys. They nailed it. YOLO Park, those ones suck. The equivalent sort of items are awful.
Oh yeah, the small YOLO parks.
Yeah.
But the AMK things are incredibly awesome and great value for anyone. As long as you like, I always have to preclude this conversation with like, yeah, they don't transform. So if you care about that, just fucking stop listening. I don't want to have you bitching about it. These are some of the best non-transforming Transformers ever. Like they're better than 3-0 because they're playable.
Yeah, the 3-0 stuff is too fragile for me. It stays in a box.
I mean, that stuff is amazing too. And Flame Toys still might have them at the Karakuri Kuro whatever line. Like those are incredible.
Those are super pricey though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not equivalent at all.
Yeah.
They're like another tier up. But I'm saying like that's where they excel. Their model kits are not as fun as like putting together a Blocky.
Oh my god.
So it's interesting. These companies, all these companies are trying to have like every price point under the sun, but they each excel at a certain one.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of interesting. Like,
So
if you were selling their stuff, you wouldn't buy their bad stuff and only buy the good stuff. And then you'd have the full range of the best stuff.
So Paul, for something else, are you picking Blockies or Missing Link?
God, I did have something else. Are these like
or something else?
Is this like oof my wallet, sort of like my own thing, or like
this is your favorite 2024
your pick of the
else?
year for something else?
Yeah, and the something else category is just like I think Christian entered it mostly as like licensed stuff, but I'm gonna say something else can be just about whatever.
Pretty much whatever. Like I could say crossover or something.
I think was there also like an older figure that you bought this year?
Next.
Is that the
There
next
is. That's
one?
the next
Yeah, so
category.
just
It's old
keep
things
that in
that
mind.
Great,
Paul.
perfect. Thank you. I am gonna go with Blockies, but I'm gonna go with Pink Pony Club Optimus Prime.
God damn it!
Because
I need one so bad.
What a screw job of a thing that was. I mean, good God.
Do you have a Pink
Do you have it in
Pony
hand?
Club that you can show on screen, Paul?
Not
I
yet.
haven't even seen any for sale anywhere. It's killing me.
Oh,
It's
that's
all
right.
like China, not
Pardon me.
Japan. So it's not like, oh, I'll just go to Mandarake when someone sells one. Nope.
Yeah, well, it's China. It's not Japan.
That's what I said.
China. I mean, I could expand this just to be Cybertron Con. Fuck you, USA toys. Like that's what they did, and I just sit there and I like shake my finger like you got
How do you
me.
call it a worldwide exclusive when it's only in China? Seems unfair.
I think the US does the same stuff all the time.
Yeah, but then there's
World
you remember
Series
that
of
used to be
baseball,
like USA edition that they would sell in Japan, and it would be a different production run.
I guess I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. All I know is I want one real bad, bad, and I can't wait for it to show up.
I need some of the other Shark-Ducon things that they did too.
I didn't get any of those. That's
I ordered a bunch from BBTS.
I should have done that. That's my pick, I guess. If you don't know what that was, it was a Cybertron Con exclusive, and it's only $999.
It was exclusive to 5 different spots in China. Cybertron Con was just one of them.
Right. There's 999 total on the planet of Earth.
And Paul will have one.
Dark of the Earth moon.
Congrats. All right, so for something else, I decided that I would go, just so we make sure to talk about Bishojo figures. I just brought this Bishojo Bumblebee, but you know what? You know, it actually came out last year, so I can't use it. Sorry, can't do it. So instead, I had to just keep going along with this Doctor Wu thing and tell everyone they need to get this darn thing. Like, this is kind of like if you want to get one Doctor Wu figure as an accessory for your bigger toys, this thing fits perfectly in the hand of that Overlord I just had
Nice.
out, right? Like, it fits perfectly in a big figure like that's hand. He holds it well, and it looks good as a pistol with him. This is a really cool toy. So this is Dr. Wu's Megatron. It's not sold in a 2-pack. It's separate. It is the most complex Dr. Wu figure they've ever made. It is way more complex than most Dr. Wu stuff. The only place that somewhat slacks is the face. The face isn't perfect, but I mean, it's a really good face for the size, right? You got to remember this thing is,
It's tiny.
My thumb's longer than it is tall. So, oh yeah, thumbs up, haha. So yeah, it is tiny. So here's aforementioned exclusive core class-ish Bumblebee, right? Smaller than that. This thing is very small, very cool. It's affordable, and I just think everyone should have it. My first one got misdelivered. I got very lucky that Catherine had an extra and sent it my way. Thank goodness. Because, this thing is super duper cool. Like, I'm really impressed by it. The gun mode is, like, close up. You're like, ooh, there's she's with us. But, like, from a distance on a shelf, you're just like, oh, that big figure's holding Megatron. That's super cool. So if you had some sort of giant Starscream, which we know Paul probably has, you could just get one of these guys and be like, Starscream is finally holding Megatron. Like, they've always wanted. It's so cute.
For what it's worth,
yeah.
I'm Googling it. They're about $30. There's a bunch of different colors and variations they've done on it too. So it's like they might be $30 to $40. They seem to be sold out at most stores, but they're on eBay. Still new. So
yeah, the retail on it was only like $26 if you can find it for its retail, but it's a little harder just because people realize how good it is. You can get it in the cartoon colors. There's a toy colors version, and there is a clear purple reformatting version, which is really pretty. And I'm really, really hoping that because this fits so well on Overlord's hand, that they do just a little bit of retooling to make Browning. Right? We've needed a toy of Browning that transforms, that is nice and affordable, and you can actually get it for a long time. It would fit. I mean, it wouldn't fit in Cancer's hand, but it would fit in Overlord's hand, and that's good enough. And it can hang out with whatever Cancer figure you have.
They did a Golden Lagoon version as well. If you wanted show accurate Browning colors, you could mix and match, kind of get it, but it's still going to look like Megatron. Really?
You could. It's still going to look. It needs at least Browning's head, right? Like they at least got to get Browning's head for it. I would like it to fully be Browning, but if it was just Browning's colors and his head on this body, I'd be okay with it. It's close enough.
Yeah.
Need a good Browning figure. So yeah, really cool toy. Like, I really do. I cannot recommend Dr. Wu enough. Like, they've done a really good job. I know that for a lot of people it's not going to fit in their collections, but if you want something to put with your city bots, with your Titans that looks more to scale, they work really well for that purpose. So yeah, that's it for the something else category. And now something old that you got this year and have enjoyment of, starting with the Rob.
Yeah, so obviously I kicked off with some old stuff, but this is something I have actually talked about, I think, on one of the shows before. But this is my Devil Satan 6 that I found in Japan this year. So it's, I don't know. I didn't think I'd ever own one of these, and I do. It was just cool to see. Like, it's funny. Our next category is surprise. This actually surprised me as well, because I came around the corner and, like, I knew that the Monstrous had, an original release in a Bandai line in Japan or whatever. I didn't know what the colors were or anything, so I come around the corner. I'm like, what the hell is that? Because, like, I knew what the figures were, and then I was like, well, it must be from that. but I'm like looking on my phone to make sure, and it's like, oh my god, he's called Devil Satan 6. How great is that? I didn't get a boxed one. I did later see a boxed one, and I actually saw a boxed one at that toy mall of all places. Really surprised to see that there. But yeah, I didn't splurge on the boxed one, but so I got a loose one. But he's awesome. So
that is so cool.
Thing. Yeah.
The name sells me too. Right? Like sometimes you just have to own something because the name is just so good. Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, it wasn't the toy mall. Sorry, no, it was I got them mixed up. It was the toy department, is where I saw the box one there. If you're ever in Ohio, there's a toy store called the Toy Department that is great.
Oh yeah, I've been there. It's great.
Yeah, it's a must every time we're in Ohio. Got to stop by.
All right, Nick, something old.
Something old for me is Diver and Niagara Base. I finally got one. And of course it makes the list because it's a Beast Wars toy, and anytime I get a new Beast Wars toy that's, gonna make the list.
Were you posting about that it making an awful noise?
Mm-mm.
In our somebody posted about that this year.
Dakota or somebody. It was on my post about it.
Got it.
Somebody had commented. I forget exactly who, but yeah.
Like I had forgotten that thing existed till that post, because I mean, who talks about that? Who brings it up? Who mentions it? Nobody.
But the frog is so pretty.
Yeah.
He's so cool out of the box. Oh my god. So I'm stoked to finally have that piece all these years later.
That's a cool piece. Is it expensive, or is it just hard to find, or
it's going up now. All of that stuff is going up now, and I 2 and change. I forget exactly what it cost me.
Okay.
But I would have liked to have picked it up back when it was $150. I waited too long.
Yeah.
But
Are you gonna put water in it?
No, I won't mess with the base beyond that. I'm just gonna just the frog. I'm
Most
just
of
the frog.
Neon green.
Yeah, he's great.
Do you think we'll possibly get a diver, out of that Naruto exclusive? Because Paul is going off the theme that those crossover figures don't get repainted, but they even said in the stream that the frog looked suspiciously like a certain mainline frog, a certain Transformer frog. So who knows?
That'd probably be like Spidor, right?
Yeah, we'd start with Spidor and we'll get to Diver.
It doesn't fit the established pattern. Patterns change. Hey, they change once, and then the pattern evolves. So maybe, but no.
I want that frog toy.
I want a Spidor. I want a Transmetal Spidor. I want a Diver.
I will say, I didn't know about this set, and so I'm just looking at it on the internets. The frog looks like an actual Transformer toy, but the other, the big figure in that, does not look like a Transformer toy. It looks like garbage. Yeah. It looks really bad. So if they was oh, this is actually a Transformer design we're going to put in this crossover set, I would buy that. Because that other thing is just... bleh. But but yeah, the frog looks like a Transformer toy. Honestly, it looks like it came out
the Naruto
in the early 2000s.
The Naruto is what, a Cheetor remold, right?
Yeah.
Is it?
I think it's actually Tigatron.
Oh, okay.
I think it's actually
one of the. I couldn't remember. It's one of the.
It's little bigger.
Okay.
We don't know. We won't know for sure till it comes out.
Yeah.
So it's hard. It's hard to gauge.
I was just seeing all the kibble hanging off of it, but I see what y'all are talking about now. Well, so that right there breaks a bit of the pattern too. If that is, a Tigatron remold, they took that and used that in a crossover set. That's pretty new, isn't it?
No, they've been doing that.
Have they?
They've been doing it that way for a long time.
Okay.
But then that remold, 100%. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people even claim Ectotron is that way. It barely is, but yeah.
It is, yeah.
It's they might have used Combiner War Silverbolt.
Everything is Silverbolt. It's just Silverbolts all the way down.
Silverbolts all the way down.
What hasn't happened? A new Silverbolt. They ran out of ways to use the old one.
What hasn't happened is the other direction. Hound was not the Jeep from the Jurassic Park set. Okay, Skids or Balzac or whoever was not from the thing that was the other dinosaur crap. You know, that's what everyone assumes. You know, they're just like, oh, I'm a toy sleuth and I can see who it's gonna be. And like Hasbro's like, nope. Just kidding, dumbass. You know. So
get wrecked, nerd.
You know, is Agent Knight gonna be a Voyager level wind charger? No, that would be preposterous. So maybe it will happen.
Omnibots. That's how we're finally getting the Omnibots.
Remember the Sea Spray and the Power Glide we got back in the day that are huge? You know, they've done weird stuff. Great.
Weird. All right, Paul, something old you got this year?
Oh, I have so many things to choose from. It was a very vintagey kind of year, but I'm going to go with the least impressive thing, which is this Action Master Starscream.
Nice.
Is that sealed?
It's not. Okay. So why would I buy it? It must be special for another reason, right? Look at that logo, Nick. Does that look strange to you? Probably doesn't, because you've probably never noticed that is usually a fully blacked out outline around that logo. But the first releases of this wave of Action Masters has this funky ass logo, and like the whole, it's all a box variant. The whole thing is completely bonkers compared to the real one. Like the more, I say the real one, they're both real. Like the more common, you know, release of this toy. Toy is exactly the same. Nothing special. It's just a packaging variant. And want to know how I even knew to look for this?
How's that?
I went fishing in my favorite way. I went in one of those Facebook groups where everyone loves to tell you you're wrong. My favorite kind, actually. I mean, it's actually, I lived for that shit. And I'm like, I have all the Action Master Starscreams. Take a look. And of course, someone let me know that I was wrong. And I'm like, thank you. Glunk took that and found it. And I bought it. Before anyone knew it was too late, you know? It was great. It was the greatest. And now I have knowledge and power that I did not have before. So I'm very happy to own that. And now I have 5 versions of that stupid ass toy. Action Master Starscream.
Great toy.
Are they all boxes? Are they all boxed?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, honestly,
that many packaging variants.
Here's another thing. Actually,
so
I didn't
USA, USB, Japan,
Netherlands, our good friends in Canada, and another weird Euro version. It might be German. You know, like this era, the 90s era, like very transitional. Lots of weird stuff was happening, and it's not well documented. There's stuff from like the Netherlands, Germany separately, France separately, instead of like Euro, you know. This was before the Euro was a currency, right? So that there was a lot more like closed border stuff going on. So it's a little Wild Westy. And so that's why sometimes you got to put the right bait on the hook. You throw it out, you see what comes pulling on it. And I got that piece, which I will show you again, and I'm happy to tell you guys this, from I Am Ratchet.
Oh, nice.
You know, well-known, long-term seller.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I had it on eBay, I think, and I this is the beauty of starting to get to know people in the fandom, is like, oh, I know that eBay name. I know who that is. And you can just reach out to them off that and say, I would like to buy this for your lowest price, because they won't care, because they're not selling it on eBay and everyone's happy. So it was very fair, in my opinion. I also don't think he knew it was special.
But also, how many people know it's special enough to care?
I'm happy to tell everybody now that I have it.
Right.
I noticed it's not AFA graded, so is that the next step?
Thank God for small miracles.
It's not sealed, so it will not be graded. It won't be graded. It's just with toys like that. We're from the 90s era toys. You kind of just got to take what you get, man. You don't get to wait around for the perfect one. It just Doesn't happen. That's I could go further than that, but I'll wait for after show.
All right, so something old that we got this year. Well, I did go ahead and get I finally, after all these years, got a Q Transformers Bumblebee, right? The more Bumblebees. But again, not actually my figure of the year. What's actually my old figure of the year is I finally got some freaking prehistory animals.
Nice.
Yay!
Look at
Gene
that.
Simmons Grimlock, yes.
You all
love
the
that
best.
line.
You got the best.
Such a great.
Because I'm pretty sure I'm going to get some sort of horrible lead poisoning from these or something, the way they're like, the paint's flaky and I feel the plastic is becoming my skin. But, whatever. It's beautiful because it's freaking Grimlock with a horn.
Is that an Autobot logo split across his chest? That is rude.
It is, yeah. He's been decorated with the split Autobot logo. I haven't cleaned him up or anything.
You got to get rid of that. That's blasphemy to that toy, not to Transformers. Like, it's rude to that release.
Than an Autobot logo.
Yes.
But, perhaps more importantly.
Oh,
He's the best.
Got more.
Nobody breathed
move it
funny.
over just a little bit? There you go.
A little bit over?
Very nice.
Damn, you're bringing the heat.
Yeah, this thing is the prehistory animal I always wanted, right?
Hell
like
yeah.
I want
think it's the
all
first
of
one
them.
everyone saw, right? Like, or the first one we remember.
Sledge with wings. It's so goofy.
Yeah, weirdest faces too. My God.
So, what is the history on these guys?
The prehistory.
It's prehistory. I'm glad we probably see the same way. Yeah, they're made by an infamous semi-KO company that made, they did straight KO things. They got the molds and then they modified them and they released them themselves. And they released a full set of prehistory animals that are called prehistory animals on the box. I almost bought box ones at TFCon LA because just getting the boxes with the words prehistory animals on them was so good. But I went the most cheaper route. And
how much was the offer at TFCon?
The box one I saw was I think it was between 3 and 4.
Oh, so it was just one. I thought you said the whole
set.
set.
Yes, I only saw one box one so far. So I decided just to get a couple of on box ones, which are, honestly, I want to display them like this anyway. Again, this thing is gold and has metal wings, and it's just a disaster waiting to happen.
Prehistory sludge is
cool.
There is a box on eBay. It's $600. I don't know if anybody's going to buy it at that price.
That's crazy.
It is great though.
I don't know. That sounds like a good deal.
I managed to get a hold of these guys this year, and I also got the weird Godzilla Grimlock, the G1 Grimlock that was turned into Godzilla. I also got one of those this year. So it's just a good year for KO weirdo Dinobots, and they are just so great. They're so great. So happy to have them finally.
Can I say something somewhat related that is more personal and probably shouldn't be on air, but why did no one want me to buy that sealed Draclord for them in the chat? What? I was very disappointed.
For me, it was a boring character.
Well,
and
that's true.
And the price versus the boring character versus making space for it just fell short for me. If it was a more interesting character, I would have went, or if it was notably cheaper, I would have went.
You said a sealed Rock Lord?
It was granite, unfortunately. Okay. He's kind of, and his head is falling into the
I'm only doing those guys loose. I'm not doing them sealed. So that's why.
And I already have everything loose.
By the time I saw it, you were already complaining about no one wanting it. So I didn't even see your original post about it.
Well, I bought it because no one else wanted it. So now I have it, and I'm fucked.
I wouldn't go that far.
Open up a new rabbit hole.
It wasn't, like you said, it wasn't crazy expensive or anything, especially not for sealed stuff. But it's still just
$75.
Yeah.
And I ended up trading toys for it in the end.
That's even better.
Yeah.
wholesale toys. So like, yeah, very, very good deal.
All right, we've got one more category. Something that surprised you. We'll start with Rob. Something that surprised you.
I mean, a lot of stuff I've talked about today surprised me. You know what I'm going to go with? I don't have it down, but I've talked about it on the show. Was probably the knockoff Guard City, because I've had that eBay search for years, you know, and again, it was funny is I think part of the reason I was able to snag it is just because I was off hours, because we were in Japan and I was like middle of the day when usually the eBay stuff comes out at like 3 a.m. is when those emails come in or something. But I don't know. Again, maybe I overpaid for it, but I never see it come online. I've been watching that literally probably a decade, you know, so like sometimes the original one will come up for, you know, 1,500 to $4,000, you know, people list stuff at whatever price they feel like, especially stuff like that doesn't show up. But yeah, seeing that knockoff, and I was just like, I think I have to buy it now because I want to buy it. So I did.
Score.
So yeah, wasn't planning on it, but the knockoff will be good enough. It'll go well with my knockoff Battle Gaia, because I'll probably never bother splurging for the originals on either of those. So the knockoffs are close enough. There's a few colors I wish were different that were a little more accurate, but they're close enough. So yeah, I'll go with that.
Congrats.
Yeah. The box is really cool, even though it's kind of grimy because it's so old and it was a knockoff box, but yeah. That's mine.
All right, Nick, surprise.
My surprise of the year is a thing I thought I was going to hate. So it was the comic. It's tied between the comic edition Straxus and the comic edition Flame. And I guess that means Zaren's going to come along for the ride because he was in the pack with him. But, you know, we all know that I'm not here for that toy. The Straxus is so fucking satisfying. And the deco on the Flame is so dynamic. Like, I love both of those figures. Way, way more than I thought I was going to say. Oh, it's good. It's too comic booky. I don't like the dots. You know, I'll just wait. Maybe someday they'll do a more, you know, generic deco on them that isn't comic book specific. But then I opened them and I was like, you know what? I'm satisfied. I'm happy. They do what I want them to do. The comic book deco isn't so intrusive that it's distracting.
Yeah.
They look great.
They really do.
I mean,
they're both way more satisfying transformations than I was expecting them to be. So that's my surprise.
We've talked about almost every Hasbro toy I've bought because I bought those two sets. You know, being a G1 Marvel fan. Yeah, they were cool stuff.
I think they need to keep that comic edition going. Like
they do.
It's really good.
Yeah. Where's
like,
the sound wave?
Well,
right?
It was on the dock.
Sound wave.
It was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And you know, late quarter shift stuff. Maybe it was. I heard it was supposed to be an Amazon thing, but I never really trust the retailer exclusive stuff because they you know, that's the hardest stuff to know about and predict. So I just feel like someone's just making shit up when they say that. But I applaud it, and I hope we do get that purple sound wave, and I want the Marvel Starscream because it's Bizarro and Megatron. Like, just do all the ones. Nick, you and I could give them a list of 30 things to do, like right now, without having to check the goddamn wiki, and they'd be set.
It'd be fun.
I'm sure that Walkie would wet himself over a ratchet.
Absolutely.
You know?
If only they would go so far to make the Ratchet Megatron.
Yeah.
Oh, God. See, now that's what they should have done with that red line before they canceled it, is do stuff like that doesn't transform.
They canceled Red? No.
Dude, Red was not bad. I don't get the hate for Red. That was a great
I don't hate it.
line.
It was just
it's not your thing.
Super 7.
I mean, I have one Red figure over here next to me.
Red figures weren't bad. They were, some of them were a little iffy looking, but they were fine little.
Yeah, I didn't have anything against it. I just know no one really cared for them.
Yeah, and guess what you keep getting? You keep getting Super 7 Ultimates. You stop getting Red figures, you keep getting Ultimates.
Those are far inferior products to the Red figures. My God.
They are, and they cost way more.
The only, to me, the big difference is that Ultimates had a much more interesting character selection.
It does.
Yeah,
it does.
You know,
They were
that's what
match
Super
match
7 I
racing.
think does best is they do deep cuts along with their normal stuff. But
That G2 comic
the qualities
Megatron,
aren't there.
oh, so good. Okay, surprise, Paul.
Surprise. Well, I already spoken about it. And so I spoke about the AMK YOLO Park toys. So I got one of them. I got one of them. I got the Starscream. And what surprised me most is that there's like brown grease on it that's supposed to be deco, but it looks like it's rust. Like it's like, whoa, is this right? It's it's kind of confusing when you get it. If you have the toy, you know what I'm talking about. But it is deco. But this is why it surprised me the most. Because it is the perfect size to fit with your original Cobra Hiss tank. And the legs even come off, baby.
Oh
so
my
this
God.
is going to make an incredible custom by the time I'm done with it.
I mean, it looks like you're done. Just set it there. Boom.
No,
Finished.
no. There's a whole like thing here that has to happen, but
Nah.
it will be glorious when it's done. And this toy, it
It's the
is
top half
essentially
of it.
the top half of this toy. It's essentially the newest version of the Masterpiece toy, but like you don't have to worry about it transforming. And that's kind of how I feel about all these AMK things. They're very, very good. And they should be like $120. They're like $50, $60. It's
Really?
crazy how, yeah, they're completely affordable and they are high value for your money. So
How tough was it to put together?
is that a joke? I mean, it's
No, it's a question.
It
It's more
comes
parts than other
assembled.
Yellow Park toys. Okay.
it's essentially assembled. You just like
Okay. It's just
you plop the
together
leg.
the
It's a
legs and
model
arms.
kit because you plug the legs in place, basically.
Yeah, you put the legs on, you put the arms on. I mean, I actually on this particular one, I took the injet off or the inlet or whatever because that's how I was going to try to. Really, he shouldn't have a wing. He should be missing a wing to do this right, to do this custom right. But you really have to destroy the toy, as you can see, to remove the wing. You have to, like, I need like one of those hot wires to like cut through this plastic. Anyways, yeah, these are Skybound Starscream as of issue 14. So
Spoilers.
it is pretty fucking cool. And it surprised me that this is the one that fit. Because this is the best one and the most affordable one that could possibly do this. So it's exciting. If someone go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I asked about it simply because the classic scale or the classic, what do they call them, whatever, the classic edition blocky figures are like 90 pieces, right? So that's a little more involved model kit. And I have
totally different.
Only one Yellow Park figure from the Rise of the Beast set, the original, the first toys they were putting out. I have the Optimus Primal, and he was just like you described that, where you just pop it together. But he wasn't as fancy as that. He's really good. Don't get me wrong. Like that's a really cool screen accurate Primal in bot mode, but he's not as fancy as that. So I was curious if they just went for more of a model kit with that. Sounds like they didn't.
No, it's like under 15 pieces. You just
Nice.
put the stuff together. It's totally. They shouldn't even call it a model kit. It's almost
But
just
that-
saying
that's
it's
what their
not
license is
transforming.
for.
Yeah, their licenses for model kits.
Yeah.
It is very good. It is completely different than a blocky. It's completely different than a 3-0 car. Either of their
Articulated,
line.
right?
Oh yeah. And this thing is. Oops, just dropped my vintage Hiss tank I got, but this thing is it's completely
Superposable.
all sorts of things. He can do like the shocker if you want. He can like give you a big. Love these. These are very good buys, and they won't exist forever. Like once the test of time will be these will shoot up to what they actually probably should cost. I don't know why they're trying to like lower the market. It's great. You should get, if you have any inkling to get these, you should get them. I don't even sell them. I just think they're awesome.
the AMK Pro Rise of the Beast Mirage is coming out this month.
Thought about getting
and
it.
that's probably something to get if you like that character, because he has no toys that look like him. You know, the Studio Series toy doesn't really look like him at all. So if you want something that looks like that Mirage, if you want a Pete Davidson robot in your life, you know, you can get that and it'll be pretty cool. I'm excited for it. Like, I don't know if I'll get it, but I'm excited for it to exist because that character was actually fun. So he deserves a good toy. So cool, Paul. Thanks for sharing that. That was fun.
Yeah, I like to talk about things that I think are good, which I think other people just don't. You know, the non-transforming stuff we've talked about a lot tonight. It's great.
And
People need to be more open to that.
Is this the year of Transformers that don't?
Well, in this January alone, there are 2 new lines of non-transforming Transformers from companies that haven't done toys before coming out. There's I can't remember what either of the names are, but one looks kind of it's like they call them like action battlers.
Oh yeah.
And they're like simple posable. It's like $30 for a set of 6, so they're really cheap. Figures. I have no idea what the quality will be. And then there's that other set that I've seen on Show Z that looks really, really outstanding. Like they look really detailed and posable. They look really cool. So we'll see what those are. I think they're both in like the 6-inch-ish scale. So we'll see what those things are. I have a feeling those first ones, those action battlers, are going to be like the disappointing, simple Yellow Park ones that Paul and I talked about. Like those are not good. I still have almost all mine in packaged, like unassembled, because they're just not good.
You know, there was another one that I rarely get heard mentioned, but the Pop Mart Transformers. Did you see those things? Those are more like the old PVC, like the 3-inch ones. I want to say those are pretty good, but they're not articulated at all. But they're like well made and they're all right, but they're just not as cool as a Blocky or any of the things you just mentioned, but they could be like on par paint wise.
You know when I was looking around, I don't remember why I was looking around Walmart, but I just saw the other day I ran into the freaking popsicle stick.
I have to go looking for those yet.
It's Culture Fly makes those.
That was like the weirdest, like, places are licensed to do non-transforming Transformers now. Did you expect one of them to be popsicle heads? Well, it is.
That's the same. That's the same company that made the Matrix though, from
that
TF1.
And
so if you see those, the Matrix was there in the same like little display box thing. So that's where you got to find those.
When I see those, I had this moment of like, I do collect RC. I could try to get the RC, but it's blind bagged and they're not cheap. So
you could figure out. You got to feel them. you got to
feel it out.
You got to feel up the bags. That's how I found
Walmart, right?
Or Shockwave.
He says Walmart. Just buy them, open them, and return the ones that you don't want. Walmart. What are they going to do? Person making minimum wage doesn't give a shit.
Turn it off. Okay, so because this is our very last category, and I knew I'd be the last person, I wanted to do something quick. I feel like I really need to have a Bumblebee joke because I've done a Bumblebee for everyone. So just, I was surprised at how much I don't like this. There you go. Studio Series 86 Bumblebee, surprised at how much I don't like it. I don't like it at all. So good for that. But my actual surprise is going to be, and this is the reward, if Christian is a good friend and watches this whole show, this is his reward, is that I'm going to talk about G.I. Joe.
Yay! Army guys, steak terrorists.
And here's what my surprise is. Like, I got this for Christmas, and I love it. I've liked all the G.I. Joe crossovers. This is the Triple T Cup. G.I. Joe crossover Transformer comes with the Sergeant Slaughter, who I had forgotten was bigger than regular G.I. Joe's, so I got very confused for a minute when he towered over my M. Bison figure, who was piloting my All-Striker. I was like, why does the Bison look so weak compared to Sergeant Slaughter? That's because he is, compared to Sergeant Slaughter. But what gets me about this guy is, like, this line has been really weird, because it's been like, everyone comes out, people complain about it being simple and not very good and kind of meh as a Transformer, ends up at Ollie's for way cheap. People literally sell the the G.I. Joes that come with it separately for almost as much as the entire figure cost. It's just been a weird ecosystem of these things. And they just keep coming out and people are like mad with them. The last one to come out, the Thunder Machine. Thank you. The Thunder Machine Soundwave was a little bit better in that people just liked this transformation better and it looked nicer. But it was kind of seeming like they weren't going to come out at the quality of current mainline toys. And then this guy comes out. He's solid. He's well constructed. He's well made. They gave him ankle tilt for some reason. The first 3 crossovers haven't had ankle tilt or wrist swivel. He has ankle tilt, wrist swivel. His head moves. You know, like he's just a proper modern Transformer. In every way, pretty much. He's big and blocky, but he turns into a perfect Sergeant Slaughter's Triple T. Works perfectly as the tank car thing, whatever the heck this was supposed to be. Comes with its accessories. Only complaint I've really seen validly about it is that, you know, him holding the turrets from the vehicle mode is kind of silly looking. That's his only hand weapons.
Wait a minute.
But you know
Wait a minute. No one's bitching about that backpack he's fucking wielding there. Look at that.
Look at that.
No one cares about that? But Optimus Prime has a slight bevel at the back of his back, and everyone has a fucking hissy fit. Look at that thing! My God, you guys are blind in different ways.
He doesn't have a backpack. He has a shoulder pack.
Shoulders.
Yeah,
big
his
old
backpack
shoulders.
is fine.
It's funny because when these are the only piece that are separate, when you open the package, you have to plug them in. So he doesn't have it for a minute.
So it's
Yeah,
salt in the
don't plug
wound.
them in.
Everyone just can't see them anymore because they realize that part sucks so bad, right?
Well, like the All-Striker had that the All-Striker has the roll cage that obscures the bot mode's back like terribly and doesn't come off. So I think this might have been a compromise where they're like, if we're gonna do a big back thing, it needs to actually pop off just in case people want to display it a little bit better.
Oh, so you can actually remove those.
Yeah, these can come off if you want them
sick.
to. Yeah,
That's great.
they can.
Because they
But
suck.
but yeah,
I love
this
all the
is-
crossover toys.
I'm surprised they
Unironically.
actually made it better. Like I was going to like them as they kept coming out. I was going to enjoy them. I was going to keep wanting them and possibly getting them. But I did not expect them to listen to feedback and improve them. And that's exactly what they did with this. You know, yes, the whole cup with Sergeant Slaughter just because they're both sergeants thing is really goofy, but whatever. It turned out, it looks good. And they made it better. So I'm so happy that they actually improved this. And I hope this line goes on for there are infinite G.I. Joe vehicles and infinite Transformers characters. So let's just keep going.
Bring
until
on the Rolling
core
Thunder
target
Optimus
audience all
Prime.
dies. Yeah, please. Absolutely. That can be fine.
Next
'cause,
HasLab.
you know, I don't even think the price point on these is that bad. Because, you know, Super 7, as our beloved kind of bizarre company, they're doing O-Ring G.I. Joe figures now, and they're charging $20 each, and they're not compatible with the original Joe vehicles because they don't have the right size footholes. Their footholes don't work with the G.I. Joe with the Transformers crossovers or with the original vehicles. So, since those are $20 each, this comes with 2 G.I. Joes and cup for $90. You know, not so bad.
How do you mess up the foot pegs?
I don't know.
I feel like you have to work to do that.
Right?
From a
this,
business
like,
perspective,
I
you
don't
didn't mess them up.
Right. You just made them need their own vehicles.
Yeah. Hey, what do you think? Like you're saying that the crossovers are improving, but like
Yeah.
fictionally, we are as married as ever with
We
G.I.
are.
Joe. So do you think that this might be a silly thing to even try to customize? Like maybe they'll shift that line to be like, yep, here you go. Here's
You think
Skybound
they'll do a
Starscream.
remold instead of Megatron? It'll be Starscream this time.
I'm saying it'll be this. I mean,
Oh.
you know what this is, right? This is like from the fucking comic. Like they attach his ass to a goddamn hiss tank.
I didn't get there yet, but okay.
Well, sorry, but
What?
he's all right. He's
I know
driving
I'm
around. He's got a walker. in
Nick,
Transformers
you just don't
terms.
immediately read those issues as soon as Wednesday rolls around.
It's on the cover, man. I mean, of an issue ago. So I mean, come on.
I'll get there.
Well, that's kind of something you just see by working at the comic shop. I guess is what I'm saying. So.
Yeah. No. Anyway, yeah. I think it could go that way. Like, if they, I wouldn't want them to completely pivot because it would be like, because you couldn't just put like a classic Duke figure with it. You would have to have the comic style Duke, who is more gritty. He's a different looking guy than original Duke. So I want them to keep doing this so we get more of the original cartoony, silly G.I. Joe stuff. But they could also start making these more gritty comic versions. And I would want them to. Actually,
like crossover Transformer G.I. Joe stuff could coexist with a third Divergent line that is purely Transformers plus G.I. Joe Skybound stuff.
Yep.
Stop that.
Good. I'm not saying they're going to do that, but like...
Stop it.
I think anyone who says absolutely not to anything, any idea, is setting themselves up to be wrong. There's so much stuff in the past 5 years that has come out that like 10 years ago, I would have said there's no way those things will ever happen.
Yeah.
There's just a laundry list of deep cuts and weird things and crossovers and licensed stuff. So much stuff that's come out that, you know, I don't think anything's off limits anymore. I think anything's possible. Just kind of neat.
Yeah, I think anything's possible too. Like, because I mean, right now, like the comic toys are so delayed, right? Like, we got IDW comic toys in the last few years as the IDW second line was ending, right?
Yeah.
And now we're getting the Marvel Comics toys that were from a comic book that ended like what 200-300 years ago. So
we did get Regeneration 1, which is in that continuity.
True enough, we did get that,
but also ended a billion years ago.
Yeah.
And like when we had the Cliffjumper and Bumblebee made of the Earthrise and Siege Rise figures, and everybody was just like, oh, they're obviously going to do a 2-pack of Glyph and Tap Out from that Valentine's Day issue, right? It hasn't been 20 years yet, so we can't have it.
I mean, we got
comic figures are so delayed.
We got updated articulation from G1 Toys. I mean, anything's possible.
So Anna, one thing I'm a little disappointed about is all the Bumblebees you showed off from this year, and you didn't even show off the Lego Bumblebee.
I didn't. And the reason for that is if you had to imagine how many things are currently on the surface over here because of all the things I've held up. I currently have I have that Double Evil figure. I have Tidal Wave over here. I have that Triple T cup. I have the Shoujo Bumblebee. By the time I was decorating this thing, I was like, my shelf is so crammed. If I put the Bumblebee Lego over here, it might fall. And I was very worried about that. I do love it. I do think it's a highlight from this year. And I do think it should have been here. I just had to think, like, as far as licensed Bumblebees to make the joke with, did I want to do Bashoujo or did I want to do Lego? And a chance to show Bashoujo is always.
Well, I did just want to mention that just because as we were talking about some of those different figures, and you have expressed how much you really enjoy that figure, so
I do.
Honorable mention here.
Yeah, I enjoyed the experience of those two Lego kits. I put them together both last year,
late in the year, and yeah, they're just really fun.
I'm really curious to see what they do with the Lego Soundwave this year. If it'll be, cassettes or what with them.
That would be fun if they did it.
I might have to get it
Are we going to do a show for like 2025 predictions and hopes and stuff?
I feel like we've kind of done it a little bit already earlier in December. So
wasn't there another leak list that dropped today?
I think our next episode was there.
I think so.
I hope they make my best friend Prima Prime. Maybe.
I don't think that's a figure.
Oh, it's not?
Joke's on you.
Not Prime. No, I don't think that's one.
I've seen it. That's what they're printing on the box.
It definitely is.
Probably
that
the
goes
same
over the
number as another toy too.
But from what we've been seeing tonight, I think we need to do an episode very soon reviewing all of the various non-transforming Transformers that have come out in the last year and are coming out, and talk about which ones are actually good and which ones are terrible. Because there are some not so great ones, and there are the Blockies and the Yellow Park big ones. There's some highlights.
I can help you with that. I can show you every Starscream version in every toy line that has come out.
And that's
show
a
you
good
why some
litmus
suck.
test, right? Can you do Starscream? That's important for Transformers. Can you do Starscream? Can you do Optimus? And can you mess up Bumblebee? Because a lot of people do. By the way, this is not actually a messed up Bumblebee. I love this thing. It's fantastic. It's really cool. It's an actual highlight of weird things I got this year. My fan book, my first fan book.
What was that one of the magazine releases?
Yeah, it's the Japanese fan book that has spot the differences puzzles and mazes and different things and a tiny transformer. I love it. It's so great. It's cute.
Well, Anna, we made it to midnight, so there you go.
We did. It's time for us to all expire.
How did that happen?
I don't know. It's crazy. Time flies when you have fun.
My fault.
Sorry.
Thanks,
Paul.
Paul.
Doing it.
God.
Oh, I forgot Studio Series.
Oh yeah,
I have an answer.
Yeah, what do you got?
Oh yeah. So
did any of you guys pick the Bumblebee? Okay, did any of you guys pick the Bumblebee Megatron? Because you done fucking goofed if you didn't. Because that is going to be a very, very valuable toy in the very, very near future. In fact, today. So you should have gotten it if you didn't already. Sorry.
Is that the concept art Megatron?
Yeah.
And it's incredible. It's actually it's awesome.
Did I open that yet?
Why would we know?
Only you can answer those
I
questions.
don't remember. I don't know.
That's it. And if you didn't get it, good luck. I hope you got Studio Series 86 Grimlock before now too, but you probably didn't.
I don't have either.
Snoozing, right? The motto of Paul.
That's right. I mean, how do the same people always miss the good stuff every time? How does that happen? You know, it's just crazy. It's like they never learn, never listen. That's what they don't do.
All right. Well,
that's my answer.
Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you to everyone in the chat this week. I hope everyone has a wonderful 2025. And we'll see everyone next week.
Thanks, everyone.